Happy Monday. What's going on?
Happy Monday. How are you?
Well,
Things are going okay?
what's that?
Things are going okay over there?
Yeah, how are things with you?
Good. Keep myself busy.
I'm going to touch base with you tomorrow. I'm going to give you a call.
Perfect. Is the office busy now or slowly becoming a busy spot?
So guys,
Hey, Gaurav.
hello. Hey Jigar.
How are you?
Hey Andrew. Great. Ian. Hi Tyler.
Going.
Great. So I got a minute late. It's back to back. All right, and and Christiana, Colette, Brittany, if any of you guys, can you please put your video on? Great. Thanks, Christiana. Thanks, Brittany. Thank Colette. How are you?
Good. How are you, Gaurav?
Wonderful. Thank you. It always makes me wonder. I probably get 2 requests a day to see if they can get on my calendar for 30 minutes because they just want to talk to me about my history and how things have happened and how am I running 11 businesses and how's my mindset and my personal take on things. And whenever I teach a class, it's the same 8, 9, 10 people that value my time. And the others value my time only if it works for their time. So it's interesting always. But I appreciate you all. It's the same people I get to see, and I appreciate you all very much. I think I only see Jigar. He's always consistent with his classes with me. So I appreciate it. Thanks, Brittany, for being here. All right, so let's get started. I have been, I'm sure each one of you guys take out some time in your day to read a few pages that guide you and help you. I learned this a long time ago. I did not read much before. I don't think I read much even now, but I read a little. And the idea is if I can read 1 page a day, 5 pages a day, or 10 pages a day, whatever you think is worth it, you should do that. But every day you need to grow your mindset and knowledge a little bit more than yesterday. Every day we are working toward being a better person than yesterday. And how do you achieve that? By doing the same thing you did yesterday, it does not make you better. Actually, sometimes it does. By doing the exact same thing, there's a $10,000 rule. I don't know if you guys have heard it. It says anything you do to be a master of something, if you do it 10,000 times, you automatically become a master. So all you have to do is just do the same thing 10,000 times. So in that context, doing the same thing every day helps you make better, but you still need to learn and educate yourself to grow better in your knowledge. So I have been reading this book, John C. Maxwell's. John Maxwell is a great writer. This one is called Make Today Count. And it's a very simple, small book. If you guys want to buy it on Amazon, I think it's like $5. There are like 3 or 4 books in the series. And I think it's like more of a consolidated version of the other books that he has written. So it's a very, very easy read. It's literally 5, 6, 10 pages of different things that he talks about. In this particular one, there are 12 things he talks about, and they are attitude, priorities, health, family, thinking, commitment, finances, faith, relationships, generosity, values, and growth. Pretty deep conversations for each one of them. So my thought was, I read every line again and again and took my notes, wanted to summarize things for you, give you my own take, speak in my own words. And I do rephrase some of the things that he talked about in the book. And instead of doing all 12 in one shot, let's dive deeper into a couple or 3 of them in one class and spend an hour just talking about it as well. instead of me blabbering for the whole 1 hour, we'll just, I'll get the context started, and then let's have a conversation amongst ourselves, more like a mastermind or a book club. Is that okay with you? All right, cool. So, Johnny, thanks for being online here. I usually have a request and sort of usually mandate it. If anybody's here, please put your videos on. And if you can't, I understand, but I always request it. So in case you did not know my ask before. All righty. Okay. So I only was working till 1 a.m. yesterday creating this. So I did put in some effort. This is not something I just come to a class one day and randomly start talking. I really put an effort here. So hopefully it's of value to you too. Let's see, slideshow. Everybody can see this? Good.
Yes.
So make today count. We're going to talk about two things today, attitude and priorities. So what always makes me wonder, how come some people do so much in a day and some people can't do that much in a week? We all have the same 25 hours a day and 8 days a week to work. So how come I'm just kidding. How do they do more? And I think many people ask me the same question. Well, how do you run organizations like these when I can't keep up doing sales or prospecting? And I think there's so many common answers you're going to find from leaders, business people, people who have better hold on their calendars. But then that's just time management, calendar management, delegating, leveraging. But then there's also more internally, which is your attitude and priorities and other things that the book talks about. So let's just talk about these two. So food for thought. The secret of your success is determined by your daily agenda. In the book, John talks about, he says, I can go to somebody's house, spend a whole 24 hours with them. I can probably tell you by the end of the day what kind of person they are, what kind of success they'll achieve from just their routine. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. Success doesn't just suddenly occur one day in someone's life, and neither does failure. Each is a process. So in your life, you could look at, say, there's a phrase that Gary always talks about, Gary Keller always talks about, you might be losing so slowly, it makes you feel like you're winning. Do you understand what that means? Christiana, you want to like say something about it? Do you know what that means? You might be losing so slowly, you might be thinking you're winning.
I don't know. You might be losing slowly, right? I don't know. I feel like sometimes you also take things for granted. We take our time for granted because there's so many hours in a day that you're like, oh, I can do that. I can do that, But actually, you can. You just have to be also present to what you're doing. Because sometimes I feel like we're just thinking for the future, constantly thinking for the future. What's the next step? What's the next step? But how about now?
So fair. That's true. And also think from the perspective of when people think that they're winning, what are they comparing to? Comparing to others or comparing to yourself from yesterday? So if I had $100 today, and I have $101 today, and I have $102 tomorrow, and $103 the next day, I think I'm winning.
Mm-hmm.
However, my expenses went from 90, 92, 94, 96, 98. And as they're going to go up, I'm actually losing. I'm spending more money than I'm making, but I feel like I'm winning because I'm comparing myself to the previous one. So in life, sometimes we feel, oh, because I'm able to compare myself to myself from yesterday, or I might be comparing myself with somebody else and say, oh, I'm doing better than them.
Mm-hmm.
Or in just my own health, oh, I'm doing great at the age of 42. However, I'm not checking my cholesterol every day. I might not be checking how a 42-year-old should be doing as compared to other people. So sometimes you feel like you're winning.
Mhm.
If you're losing so slowly, it feels like you're winning.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, bringing back to that, I was like thinking, because I do that too. I tend to compare myself to a lot and be saying like, oh, I'm like getting older. I don't know, like I graduate later or all that stuff. But I also feel like it's unfair to yourself to compare yourself with others because everybody has different path. So
Sure.
like you gotta, I feel like life is not a competition. It's more like a marathon, you know, kind of like we all getting somewhere. It's just some people get at a different time or I don't know, they have a different path.
Sure.
And I try to remind that myself every day.
It's a marathon. It's a long-term play. So success doesn't just suddenly occur one day in someone's life. Neither does failure. So you got to watch both of them very carefully. Every day of your life is merely preparation for the next. What you become is a result of what you do today. You're preparing for something. The question is, are you preparing for success or failure? So when you wake up today, when you woke up today, or you're going to be working for tomorrow, you have to think about what am I doing today that is going to benefit and make me a better person tomorrow. So every day needs to be a dedicated effort to make you better today, because then you can use that to get better tomorrow. And imagine if you did that for 365 days or for 30 years in a row. How would your life look like if you did that continuously day after day? You can pay now and play later, or you can play now and pay later. Choice is yours. Either way, you're going to pay. It's funny. When I was in high school, or my dad and I had a girlfriend who is now my wife. We've been dating since high school. My dad used to tell me, he said, the hard work you put in today to go to college is going to define if you're going to take your wife for a honeymoon in Switzerland or in Poconos. He says that's the difference of your life forever. And at that point, it was just fun talk to me, but I understand the impact that he was trying to make. You're going to end up paying. There's no shortcuts. You have to work hard. So are you going to put in the effort now, or you're going to work for the rest of your life, working through your retirement, trying to make a living, trying to meet the bills? Is that worth doing it then, or is it worth doing it now? If and you know there's no shortcut. So if you're going to be doing it at some point, why not just do it now?
I mean, also, I feel like
Decisions.
I just feel like it probably gets harder, I would imagine, as you get a family and have children to put in the time. So it's probably easier to do it earlier on.
So
I would imagine. I don't have kids,
So-
but I would imagine that's the case.
100%. Your obligations continue to increase. So that is definitely true. So think about this one: decisions and discipline. A good decision minus a daily discipline is just a plan without a payoff. A daily discipline of doing something without good decisions is a regimentation without reward. And I put that in very simply in my health. So a good decision of maintaining a better health, but a daily discipline is not there. If I'm not eating well and having my discipline or working out, it's just a plan. And there's no payoff. I will not lose weight. I will not have a better health. But if I have a daily discipline of, yes, I'm going to work out in the morning every day, but I have no good decisions of eating better, I'm going to have the same thing. But if I have good decisions and have daily discipline, that's where a masterpiece of potential comes in. So you don't make decisions because they're easy. You don't make decisions because they're cheap. And you don't make decisions because they are right. You make decisions for success. And
I think also discipline is good when motivation is low. Because motivation sometimes is so low that you're like, oh, what do I do? But if you have that discipline, wouldn't that help? Like to motivate you as well? If you're just like going to the gym every day. When you get into the habit of disciplining yourself, then if you're not motivated one morning, you're like, oh, I have to go because I go every morning. Wouldn't that?
It depends on the person, because it can be challenging. If you have the discipline of going to the gym, that means you're self-motivated.
Mhm.
But to motivate yourself, some people need outside accountability. So you need
Mhm.
to push from somebody from outside. And many of us, people try to try to not accept that sometimes they need outside help, and that's okay. We all need some outside help. Uh, I look for people from outside to help me motivate myself for working out every day as well, and that's okay.
I realized in my life, at least, is that with anything, the goal isn't to, like for me personally, the goal isn't always to stay motivated. It's more or less sticking to your staying disciplined because you got an end goal. Like I look at everything like it's business. Like when I get up in the morning, when I eat, it's business. I love to go get a cheeseburger or something, but I don't always feel like it. I don't always feel like going to the gym, but it's the end goal. And that's not the gym. It's just anything in life. If you know that you run a business and you got to be up the crack of dawn, you're not always going to feel like getting up at 6 in the morning, but you got to do it anyway. And if you're looking for something that always keep you trying to stay motivated all the time, I feel like that's impossible. It's like trying to be happy all the time. It's not going to happen. It's not like how life works. You got to find something that's more than that, like meaning.
That is so true. Staying happy and staying motivated all the time is almost impossible.
Yeah.
But then also, there's a deeper philosophy on what is happiness, and is happiness self-created or is it from outside forces? Probably another conversation for another day. But thanks for the comment. So attitude: choose and display the right attitude daily. Positive thinking gives you positive outcome. So Ian, I see Ian dressed up every day, clean shaven, nice haircut with a tie. Why would he do that? Why would he be wearing professional clothes, being in the industry that he is, almost every day when he may not be even seeing more than 10% of the whole total agent count in the office? Ian, why do you do that, man? Why do you wear suits or tie every day?
Oh, I talked to Nate Nannis. I introduced myself to him early on, and he said, "You never know when you're going to meet the mayor, so you might as well be dressed for it."
That's absolutely right. You never know where the next business opportunity is going to come from. So you have to be ready for that opportunity. And it's also about the mindset. I used to wear a suit every day. I got beat up. I used to wear a suit every day. And some of the team members in some of the companies basically said, suit is too much. And I don't think I can just carry a tie with a shirt. So I changed my wardrobe a little bit during COVID, but I'm a suit guy. I like wearing suit every day. Makes me the right mindset that I'm in a job that deserves the significance of wearing a suit. I'm a professional and I'm going to work and it's business. That's what my mindset is. And that's what the attitude that comes to your mind. So everything that you're doing comes from that mindset.
Could I say something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So I will say, so I walk through the city every day to the office, and I notice a difference in the way people treat me when I am just wearing a polo, as opposed to I'm wearing a shirt and tie. It's like, it's almost as if there's just more respect because I took the time to put myself together, that it happens. And then the conversations usually have a lot more punch, a lot more power, because my first impressions already introducing myself.
So true. And if you respect yourself, people are going to give you the respect back in return as well, especially to your profession. The attitude: choose and display the right attitude daily. Most successful people will tell you that their attitude makes a big difference in their life and also makes an impact on the people around them. Say to yourself, I'm going to keep a positive attitude and use it to influence others. Can you imagine if I feel good about myself, I can make others feel good about themselves around me. If I feel miserable, I probably emit that negative energy out me from here as well. So if you tell yourself that I'm happy and I smile and I look at people and have a short conversation, or my body language and whatever they give to me in a conversation as a negative energy, I'm going to convert that into positive energy and give back out. I'm going to show and display the same attitude towards everybody else as well. So on a daily basis, not on once in a while when I'm in the mood, in a good mood today, and then other times people just look at me as a grumpy guy. It's something that attitude changes. Attitude change is on you to maintain that every single day. So many people believe that their attitude is set. It has become such a habit for them that they believe it can be changed, and that's not true. Attitude can easily be changed, and it's just like a habit. Choose and display the right attitude daily. Making the decision to choose and display the right attitude daily. Your attitude is a choice. You can build a great attitude. Here's how. 1, take responsibility for your attitude. It is no one's responsibility to make another person happy. That is your job to make yourself happy. If you think it is your spouse's job to make you happy, you'll find some way to blame them. You must take responsibility for your own attitude. Decide to change your bad attitude areas. There are things in your life that you cannot choose, such as your parents, where you're born, or your race, but your attitude is something you can change. So if somebody ever tells that this is something that I was just born with it, or thinking this is who I am, that's not really, that's basically a cover up. This is who I am. Because you're saying is, I don't want to change. This is how I am, this is how I've been, and this is what I've planned to do. Just about everybody has at least a few areas in their thought process that could use some help. You think, act, talk, and conduct yourself like the person you want to become. Have you been to a reunion and seen some classmates have a major transformation? How do such transformations occur? Anybody knows? Can you go back and think about this in your life? When you were in high school or college, and you met somebody after 10 years, and you thought of them as like, what a nerd. This guy would not do anything. This guy wouldn't make in life. This guy has no passion. This guy is not going to be able to get any decent job. I had some friends in school that I thought the same way. They are top, some of them are top leaders in the country. So what happened? So you saw them as they were, or how you thought they were. There was a perception and a judgment that we had already created about them. But they saw themselves as the best they could be. So then they learned to act like and acquire the skills of the people they wanted to be. So if somebody wants to be a basketball player, a hairdresser, a scientist, or a different business person, or an automobile design guy, whatever that might be, that's a passion. And they find a way to become what they always wanted to be. If you desire to change yourself, then you start with your mind. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. If your thinking changes, then everything else can follow. When somebody asked me a long time ago, when I was getting into college, my major was computer science. And people said, why are you taking computer science? So my goal is to become the best programmer this world has ever seen. I'm not doing computer science right now. I'm not writing code right now. Then when I got into real estate, which happened because I lost my job right after college, and somebody asked me, why are you doing real estate? I want to be the best realtor the world has ever seen. It's just the attitude. Instead of me blaming my business career or the 9/11 happened and why it happened, and I'm an immigrant and anything else that I can find ways and reasons to say that, it doesn't matter. At this point, it's my attitude. I'm just there to be the best that I can be. So place a high value on people. One of the secrets of maintaining a good attitude is valuing people. You can't dislike people and have a good attitude at the same time. Have you ever met anyone who always treated people badly but had a positive attitude?
No.
Or someone who has a bad attitude and encourages others at the same time? People with bad attitudes will always emit negative energy. And you can see that in people. The way they walk, they talk, the smile, they open the door for you or not, they thank you, forgiveness for small errors is just in the attitude. The way that you treat yourself, you'll emit the same thing for everybody else.
Gaurav, can I add something really quick?
Yeah, sure.
That slide, well, first off, I love this topic. I couldn't be enjoying this more. And you said the class reunion. So I actually had a situation where one of our top agents here, I ran into him at my class reunion a few years ago and saw how well he was doing. And it was an amazing thing to see. And just seeing the transformation from when I went to high school with him to today is like incredible. And I think it's all about to find that passion. It's like you need the hard work first and foremost. And when that meets opportunity, something that you're willing to put that hard work into, that creates the passion. And like life happens, I think we all mature, and it's how we go through those experiences that define us. I was going to go somewhere with that. Here, I'll move on. I'll come back in a second.
Take your time. Take your time. We all are capable of doing a lot. It's only if you put our mind to it. There's no reason. Nobody was born to be a very successful business person. Everybody has the equal opportunity of being successful in life. Is how much genuine effort you put behind it. And the key is genuine. If you try to cut corners, and this is always true. If you're trying to cut corners, your gut will tell you. And either you believe in your gut and you change your habits, or you try to override your gut feeling and say, that's okay. And that's what's going to define you, how you become in the future. So develop a high appreciation for life. Have you ever known people who complain about everything? Their soup's too hot, their bed's too hard, their vacation's too short, their pay is too low. Such people don't appreciate life no matter how good it feels. But on the other side, somebody else will say, you got a hot soup, that's a great soup. You at least have a bed to sleep on. You at least got to take a vacation. You have a job that pays your bills. So people who appreciate in life will emit that positive energy. Happiness is something you decide on ahead of time. It's how you arrange your mind. If I know I'm going to go to Sesame Place or Six Flags and have a good time, you see the excitement of people who are going inside? People who know they're going to have a great time in Disney World, you know how excited they are when leaving from the airport from Philadelphia? That excitement is showing because they know and they have made up their mind that they're going to be happy. But if they get there and the line is too long, how pissed off are they? Not as much. I've been there. I've seen thousands of us standing behind. They don't care. They're getting to Disney World. But if you go to a place and say, oh, I stood in line for Starbucks. I went to my appointment and he came in late for by 5 minutes, or the key was not in the logbox. Or in life, I didn't get what I thought I deserved. My spouse said something which I didn't really care, which I didn't really admire or like, and I'm having a fight with them. Like, we are okay in having to pick those small nuances and change our attitude on a daily basis in anticipation that we would deserve so much better all day. But it's okay to be pissed off and change our whole day, not just us, but then the people around us have the same lack of positive environment because we created it. So happiness is something that you decide on ahead of time. I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to be happy. If you went with that mindset all day, how would each situation look like in your life? Appreciation is not a matter of taste or sophistication. It's a matter of perspective. Things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out. It's not about your expectations how things will be. It's whatever is being dealt to you, you make the best out of that. People always say, I'm going to make the best of the cards that are dealt to me. That's the attitude. The place to start is with the little things. If you can learn to appreciate them and be grateful for them, you will appreciate the big things as well as everything in between. And try this tomorrow. Count how many times you say thank you. Just count how many times you say thank you. And you write it down. And just make sure you do one extra time after that the next day. Just make sure you do one extra thank you after that the next day. Try it for a week. I can assure you that if the first day you did X and the next day you did X plus 1, the third day you'll do X plus 5, the fourth day you'll do X plus 15, because that's going to become a habit. Because the goal is not just to do plus 1 after that, is going to become part of you'll start seeing the joy and the happiness that you present to other people by saying thank you. I appreciate it. That's so nice. That was very kind of you. I really appreciate holding the door for me. Try changing it, right? So it's people say the word love is being demeaned by just being overused. They don't really mean it, but I love it. They'll say, but love is not what they basically say is I like it. They don't mean they love it. Same thing. I think sometimes the word thank you is overused. Maybe change the way you say thank you. Somebody's holding the door for you, just want to say thank you. It's like, that's very nice of you. That is really an effort you put in to explain to them that you really mean it. Try doing that for a week. You'll see the change that small things in life bring to you. And it was so interesting to see the smile on the other people's face, the gratitude when you give them, how does it make them feel? There's a video, I wish I thought about this one before, I just thought about it now. There's a video on YouTube. It's a guy in Europe. He goes in the train and he's listening to this headsets and something. It was I think it was a staged show, and he starts laughing louder and louder and louder and louder. The whole train compartment was laughing after 30 seconds. It's just people were not looking at each other. They were looking at the phones, and somebody was upset. Somebody was just was frustrated about something, and then everybody else was laughing. Imagine if one person can do that. How much can each one of us make a change? And how would that make us feel? And then if you feel good about ourselves, what else would we do to be better in our lives? So we look for outside help for our attitude to change. Because if I was successful, my attitude will change. If I was more wealthy, my attitude change. If I had a car and I had to go in the train, my attitude would change. More than the outside is in the inside. So while we were talking about business, what we don't do enough is talking about us, because that is a true reflection of what our business will look like. So we got to work on the core. The business can be the second product of it. Managing the discipline of attitude. To benefit from positive attitude, you need to do more than just make the decision to be positive. You also have to manage that decision. And here's how you can do it. Recognize your attitude needs daily adjustments. Accept it. Your attitude needs daily adjustments. A person's attitude does not naturally or easily stay positive. Like any discipline, your attitude will not take care of itself. That's why it needs to be attended to daily. You got to intentionally think about it on a daily basis. Begin each day with an attitude check and watch for red flags signaling that your attitude might be in trouble. So since I asked you for that exercise, when somebody else holds the door for you and you just say thank you, I hope our conversation comes to your mind at that time. Where you will say, I didn't really mean to say the word thank you. It was just something I was out of habit. I said it, and maybe I should have tried saying something different to see what impact it makes. Find something positive in everything. Have you heard this prayer? This is a pretty interesting one. Dear Lord, So far today, I'm doing all right. I have not gossiped, lost my temper, been greedy, grumpy, nasty, selfish, or self-indulgent. Indulgent. I have not whined, cursed, or eaten any chocolate. However, I'm going to get out of bed in a few minutes, and I will need a lot more help after that. It's such a true statement, right? When we are waking up in the morning, we haven't done anything good or we have done anything bad. We have done exactly everything what we're supposed to do by not hurting anyone or doing anything wrong. However, that's when the challenge starts. It's like a child. When they're born, they don't know any better. They haven't done anything wrong or to do any indifferent or somebody else. But then it's what's around us that changes everything. So Mother Teresa said the requirement for people to assist her work was two things. You have to have a desire to work hard, and you have to have a joyful attitude. Basically, you can't give back to others if you're not having a joyful attitude. Find someone positive in every situation. Nothing helps a person to remain positive like having an ally. The world is filled with negative people. In fact, they often flock together. But positive people are everywhere too. Find them and surround yourself with them. I personally sincerely believe there are more positive people than negative people in this world. I think everyone wants to do something positive till they end up doing something negative. So you find someone positive, but you also have to say something positive in every conversation. Try to create a habit to include positive comments in every conversation with others. Try to compliment, praise, acknowledge, and reward people whenever you can. It will make you feel wonderful, as would others. Remove negative words from your vocabulary. Instead of saying I can't, say I can. If only becomes I will. I don't think becomes I know. I don't have the time, I will make the time. Maybe can change to absolutely. I'm afraid, I'm confident. I don't believe, I'm sure. If you continually look for and embrace the positive and eliminate the negative, you'll help yourself to begin thinking more positively every day. And the last, is most important in my mind, is express gratitude to others daily. Of all the virtues, gratitude seems to be the least expressed. When we learn to give thanks, we are learning to concentrate not on the bad things, but on the good things in our lives. Thinking about the good things help us to be grateful. Having a positive attitude prompts us to think about the good rather than the bad. It's a positive cycle that helps to fuel itself. Before we go to priorities, let's just talk more about it. What do you guys think about attitude? Colette is here, very experienced person. Go ahead, Jigar.
I think attitude changes everything. And, I think I'm a little older than everybody on this call, so I have a perspective. And I got to a point in my life where I kind of looked back and I thought, you know what, I did all this worrying and everything was always fine anyway. It always worked out. We worked hard. We put a lot of effort into raising our family and careers and everything. And I regret it. The only thing I really regret is how much time I spent worrying.
Oh, fair enough. Jigar, what did I interrupt you? What were you talking before?
No. I was just going to say the attitude part is equally important to the other factors to self-motivate yourself and get what needs to be done. For the last slide you showed about I can't, changing those negative words to positive. I played football a long time ago in high school, and the one piece that really stuck out at me from my coach was when you say I can't, that means I won't. And I still, today, I continue saying that if I say that, I mean I won't do that. I mean, to a certain point, I change that to I will do that to a certain point. So that way, my mindset is totally different.
I also always thought about your attitude or your personality, if you would say so. It's a little bit like your business card and when you meet people. because you show them how you are, and it's kind of like giving them your business card from your personality and your attitude and the way they will remember you. Actually, it's like when they see the business card, let's say, and they'll be like, oh, I don't know if that makes sense, but I always thought it that way.
If people remember for who you are. I absolutely agree with it.
I think one of the key takeaways for me is just sort of, if you're talking about business, you would set goals and you would have kind of a plan to achieve those. But I don't know that, I'll just speak for myself, that probably am not as deliberate when it comes to the attitude. I'm not like really as deliberate about reflecting on how I'm doing and in that space. But whereas in more of like the business aspect, I'll be writing plans and things like that. So that was the biggest takeaway for me.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing.
Hey,
They always
Tyler.
say, they always say people don't remember what you say, but they remember how you made them feel. So I always carry that with me, and I think attitude's the most important thing that we have. Life's hard sometimes, and I think it kind of, your attitude develops over a period of time. I don't think, some people are positive from day one, some people are happy from day one, but there's been times in my life personally where I put too much emphasis on other people and how they made me feel, and I gave them the ability to affect my moods and affect my happiness. And then once you realize like happiness all comes within, like that's the biggest step right there. And I've realized like putting that positive energy into the universe, it comes back to you. You start writing a gratitude list in the morning, something changes. You start praying, something changes. Your attitude changes, you become more positive, and then soon you look around and like everybody around you has like a similar mentality. Everybody around you thinks very similar to what you value. So yeah, this has been an incredible class. Thank you for having me.
There was a section that the book was talking about, and it says John Maxwell and his wife goes to a party or actually went to one of the conferences, and the wife is being asked a question from some people who's sitting in the room, and the wife has said, "Does John Maxwell, your husband, makes you happy?" And she thought for a few seconds, and she said, "For the first few years, he did, and then he didn't." And he said, like, this is like a weird statement for her to hear from my wife and from everybody else, that she's saying that that I don't make her happy. Like I'm a good husband, I do everything I can, and the answer that she came up with was, she said, for the first 2 years, I kept thinking that it's John's responsibility to make me happy as a husband. And after that, I realized it's my responsibility to be happy by having him around. It's like having him around makes me happy, but he doesn't have to make me happy. It's not his responsibility to make me happy. I have my responsibility of making me happy. I think that really resonated with me personally. I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a husband, I'm a friend, I'm a business partner. And sometimes I have these thoughts in my mind about people around me that I would expect something, and if they didn't meet my expectations, that would make me internally unhappy. And that would create a judgmental call from me towards them of, you didn't do this when you should have done that. And that makes me negative towards you in my own ways. And I may or may not express that, but I'll start holding a grudge internally. So I think it was a very big takeaway from me personally, that us being happy is all dependent on us, not them. So I'm going to start the second section as well, priority. I want to complete two. And then because we have about 15 minutes left. So determine and act on important priorities daily. It is not enough to be busy. The question is, what are we busy about? Priorities. Determine and act on important priorities daily. The Pareto principle says by focusing your attention on the top 20% of all your priorities, you would get an 80% return on your effort. So we all know the 80-20 rule. I'm assuming everybody has talked about it. So making the decision to determine and act on important priorities daily. If you want to change the way you look at yourself and what you do by making a decision concerning your priorities, then do the following. Take back today. Take back today, which is your time. Time is the most valuable coin in your life. You and you alone will determine how that coin will be spent. Be careful that you do not let other people spend it for you. Your greatest possession is the 24 hours you have directly ahead of you. How will you spend it? So think about it, right? Every decision you make as of now, you change your life in every 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds, you make a decision in your mind, and your brain tells you to do something. Your brain is telling you right now, leave or don't leave. Your brain is telling you now, read the page or don't read the page. It takes 3 seconds for your brain to just redo it and say, what is my next step? Your next 24 hours will define what you are going to do with your life. And the question is, how are you preparing for it? If you don't decide how your day will be spent, someone else will. Ask yourself 3 questions. What is required of me for me to be a good spouse or parent or business person or employee or associate or ally or a friend? What is required of me? To satisfy your employer, what must you do? To be a good agent, what must you do? If you lead others, then the question should be, what must you personally do that cannot be delegated to anyone else? What gives me the greatest return? What activities yield a much higher return for the effort than others do? So what is required of me? What is expected of me? What gives me the greatest return? And what gives me the greatest reward? If you do only what you must and what is effective, you'll be highly productive, but you may not be content. It's important to consider what gives you personal satisfaction. Stay in your strength zone. People don't pay for average. People don't go looking for a mediocre restaurant or a movie or Mr. Average employee. If you don't have a good handle on your strengths, explore the following. Have you heard this? Somebody talk about, I think I read or saw this in some place. It made an impact on me. So, Noah is here. Noah is from our team. So let's say if Noah was graduating, he's going to go on stage, and I said, Noah, when you go on the stage, who do you want to go on the stage as? Noah or Alex? And Noah's going to say, oh, who's Alex? It's exactly. You don't want to go as somebody else that the world doesn't recognize you as who you are. And the same thing with Alex needs to go on the stage like Alex for who he is. We have to have our own defined personality and our own identity. And we need to be the best that we are born to be. It cannot just be one of the others. We have to be the one. And each one of us is born to be the one. You just have to work towards it as well. Trial and error. Try everything. Fail often. Make a lot of mistakes. Learn from them. You have to take the risk of failing to find your successes. The counsel of others. Ask others to evaluate you. But make sure you find the right people to do that and not just people who are going to criticize you. Personality tests. Learn about yourself and your natural inclinations. That will help to reveal some strengths and weaknesses you aren't aware of. Has everybody taken a KPA? A Keller's personality assessment? If you guys have not taken a KPA, please reach out to Andrew at kwphiladelphia.com and ask him to send you a link for a free KPA. Kel Williams does personality assessments for anyone who wants to do it. Anyone you want to partner with, we can do a KPA on them. And it tells a lot about the personality. Have you done disc analysis? Anybody's done disc analysis?
Yeah, I've done that one.
Yeah. So KPA is a similar kind of personality test. Personal experience, you really get a feel of for how well you do something by doing it repeatedly. Right. So if you want to be in a strength zone, you got to start learning what you're good at. You have to identify yourself so you can learn about your strengths, and then you have to start doing them repeatedly. What is the best way in our business to make money? In real estate, what's the best way? Tyler, one thing that you would say makes the most amount of money in real estate.
Having a lot of conversations.
Okay, so networking. Brittany, what do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say networking.
Networking. Noah, how do you build your business?
Open houses and sphere past clients.
Open houses, sphere past clients. Who else? Tahi, how do you think you build your business?
I was going to say networking, but more or less not just in particular the clients, building relationships with other agents and meeting the right people.
Perfect. So a lot of networking, right? But how can networking happen? Through open houses, through brokers open, door knocking. But they can be you can do networking in a construction site. You can do networking through mortgage lenders, insurance, appraisers, inspections. Like networking is such a generic term, but through your home warranty team, like how many of the places can you network at? A lot. So you have to find the people say, well, I don't like to make phone calls. I don't like to do door knocking. I don't like to go to events. I don't want to do this. That's okay, but you got to find something that you like. You can't say I don't like anything, but I still want to network a lot. I just don't like people. You got to find what you're good at, identify it, and then continue doing it. You got to do something, but you have to find that out by yourself. Evaluate priorities daily. Conditions continually change. So do methods of getting things done. You can't have a regimented routine and not change it because things change around you. Plan your time carefully. Only 1/3 of American workers plan the daily schedule. Only 1/3 of the people plan their schedule. And only 9% follow through and complete what they planned. Don't wake up in the morning wondering what you will be doing that day. Plan better. That's a very strong statement. Don't wake up in the morning wondering what you'll be doing that day. Follow your plan. Most of us don't get to our most important tasks until mid-afternoon. You know why? Because finishing the low priority tasks give us a sense of accomplishment. The more I cross off from my checklist, the better I feel. There's another book that I have done a class on as well called Eat That Frog. Similar concept. You gotta eat that frog first. And if you have to eat 2 frogs, eat the bigger frog first. Which means you do the bigger task that is more valuable first. If you prioritize your life and plan your day, but things that matter most must never be at the mercy of things that matter least. You gotta do things that matters the most. If you prioritize your life and plan your day, but don't follow through, your results will be the same as those of someone who didn't prioritize at all. You can't just be all theory and no practical. Delegate whenever possible. If someone can do a job that you are doing or we are doing, and they can do at 80% as well as what we do, then hand it off. That's pretty goddamn good that somebody else can do as close to good as you can do. No executive has ever suffered because his subordinates were strong and effective. Apply that to team support as well in your life and think about the tasks that you could be delegating, but you're not willing to let go. I still like doing my own transactions. I still like to put things in MLS. I still like to go and take my own photographs. These are all things that are easily you can delegate to other people. invest in the right people daily. We spend priority time with problem people when we should be spending it with potential people. Isn't that so true? We spend more time with problem people. People who call us, they're taking a time, they have an issue, they just want to talk about something that has been bothering them. They're not happy about something. We spend so much time making sure that they're happy, but not with the people that really matter to us. So recap: attitude, choose and display the right attitude daily, and your priorities. You determine and act on important priorities daily. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. So we do one class a month. I'm going to be doing this next month again, and we're going to talk about the next 2 or 3 sections of the book. In the meantime, if you guys want to talk, go and buy a book or read more about it. It's a very simple book. It's a pretty good, anything with John Maxwell is pretty good. What are your thoughts on priority or prioritizing?
Knowing how to make your day count, because that's a lot of it. Your mentality is half the battle, and it's important. But if you can't prioritize, then you have no way of actually getting to your goal. Like if you don't know what's important, if you're not able to make a difference between something that requires a lot of energy versus something that you shouldn't even pay that much attention to, you're never going to achieve what you want.
True.
I appreciate this today very much so, because I was feeling a little overwhelmed. So I needed this motivation. And actually, I was talking today to Andrea about it. And I feel like as a new agent, when you don't know what you're doing, it's like you have that lack of confidence and all that. And I try to remind myself that progression is more important than perfection. And I'm trying to keep reminding myself that like it's progress, it's a learning experience. I'm sure everyone was at the position that I am today, like yourself, and you're doing great today. So that's what I'm trying to remind myself.
So you're new to the business. Take your time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be hard on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while, but as long as you're doing things that really matter on a daily basis, you'll just be fine. And you can never ever discount growth, education, knowledge, experience, but also just prospecting. That's a word that has a negative annotation next to it, but prospecting. If you have not reached out to someone today in one form or the other to ask them for business, then your business is not going to be better tomorrow. And if you add that for 7, 10, 15 days, 90 days, then after 90 days, you may feel that you are never going to make it because now it's an added like a snowball effect. Now I'm just don't want to do it because I guess I'm not getting any business. So each one of you guys, whatever business you're in, mortgage, investments, rentals, sales, suburbs, center city, doesn't matter. Every day, you got to do one thing, get you closer to your goals, and that is helping your clients. That means you need to reach out to your clients. It means prospecting. Then the answer to everything is prospecting. The answer to every business is as long as there's growth, there's no other issues. And there's growing pains, but that is not the real problem. The problem is, how do I get to the point? So we all own our business through relationships. I think that should be in the back of your mind. Every day, doesn't matter what happens. It's like and I have a child, so it doesn't matter. Child's got to eat. Does not matter what it is. Child's got to eat. So you got to do the same thing to yourself. You got to eat. You got to feed your business too. So otherwise, if you don't eat, your body will suffer. If you don't feed your business will suffer. And you're not unique. That you will uniquely find a way not to hurt that. There's no difference. That's going to happen. So make sure you do that. make sure you continue working on your health, your mind, your attitude, your business, your friendship. Read a little bit every day, and I'm here to help you wherever I can. It's 4 to 1. Don't want to keep you holding too long. And there's some chat. I didn't see that. Okay, KPA, he's going to send it. Looking for next month. Okay, perfect. We'll send another invite for next month as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Have a great day. Bye bye,
Make a
everyone.
difference.